What's up, people? I'm Shaggy the Opinionated Hippie, continuing my deep dive into the Grateful Dead's 1973 officially released show catalog. This has been an abundance of riches, to say the least. For now, I have 3 more shows I'm going to talk about. I'm going to do one today, 2 more videos from 1973. Before I take a break and move on to other years, mainly because all of this stuff is so ridiculously good that it's literally just nitpicking minor little things in order to rank them. And I'm hoping that maybe if I take a little break and listen to other eras for a while, I'll be able to come back with fresher ears and not just be like, oh yeah, this is just friggin' great like all of it is. 1973 is a fantastic year. But today I'm going to talk about a show from Vancouver, June 22nd, 1973. This is the first of the shows that is in the Pacific Northwest, 73 to 74, complete recordings, box set. I've already done the 74 shows elsewhere. I did those. Those were the first shows I did. So now we got the 73 shows. It's just another good one, another absolutely good one. And this one has a couple song selections that haven't been prevalent on other releases. So that's going to help the ranking at the end, have it really kind of bump up a little bit, help distinguish it from some of the other shows. This is the 18th 73 show I've done so far. Seems like a lot. It is. And they've all been fantastic, which is crazy. But we got 2 sets, monster long sets. The first set is just ridiculously long. Like the first set is an entire CD plus like 5 or 6 more songs, with one of those songs being a 20-minute playing in the band. This is just an absolutely ridiculous release. Opens up with Bertha, really nice, high energy, good Bertha. We get it Beat It On Down the Line as the second song, 10 beats. This is the longest number of beats I think we've had in 73. These have been really short, where we get that opening dun 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 dun. Well, this job, we've been right around 4 or 5 a lot. That seems to be the average. Got a 10-beat intro here. We get a deal. Love these early deals. I love the bounce of this song in 73. It's just got some really good energy. Mexicali Blues, Box of Rain, Keith piano solo in the middle. Super tasty, super tasty. And then we get one of the songs that helps this show stand out. We get a bird song. What, 5 songs into it, 6 songs into it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 song into it, bird song. Nice and stretched out, nice and jammy, but it is 100% positive and optimistic and almost celebratory, the jam. Birdsong in all of its eras kind of could flirt with some dark energy and go to some dark places. This one does not. This one bounces. It's soaring. It's celebrating the bird song, the voice of the title. If Birdsong is about Janis Joplin and the loss of her, this is a pure 100% celebration of her. It is joyful. There's not any darkness in this. The band is just jumping into that improv section in the middle and just like experimenting in the most optimistic, positive, bouncy, playful, fun way ever. Starts to get a little bit calm right before we lead back into like the vocals, kind of soothing, almost hypnotizing in its calmness. And then Jerry kind of brings back a little bit of energy as we head off into the vocal section. It's amazing. It's playful. It's a little bit trippy and like a purely sunshine, psychedelic colors, day glow colors, like no negative energy whatsoever. Just a fantastic bird song. Fantastic bird song. Races On follows. Nice little brief Races On. We get a Sugaree. Sweet. It's like a sweet version of Sugaree. Sugaree, Loser, these sort of character-driven Jerry songs, I feel can like work in almost any context. If Jerry's really optimistic, it works. If Jerry's kind of like dragging his feet, it works for these songs. This is an upbeat, positive Sugaree. Kind of sweet. Looks Like Rain, which just feels gentle and delicate, and Keith's playing adds just a nice like just gentleness to the song. This is another song that can keep bigger sometimes. This one's a little softer. Row Jimmy, sweet, smooth, laid back. This is a very sweet, smooth, laid back, optimistic, celebratory first set. Jack Straw, China Cat Sunflower. This jam feels just purely sweetly psychedelic like the bird song. We're just happy to be playing. We're not really going into dark corners. The transition into The Feeling Groovy jam is pretty almost like a full transition where the whole band kind of locks into that groove and steps into it. And Jerry's just kind of staying low key throughout the entire thing, but very active. They kind of bring it way down at this point before we kind of build some momentum as we head into an I Know You Rider. The I Know You Rider feels kind of chill to start off with. Like this entire first set, incredibly well played, incredibly focused, but there's a lack of aggression, but just pure positive energy that seems to flow through the whole thing. We get a Big River, Tennessee Jed, and then we close out the set with a 18-minute playing in the band. This is a pretty even keel playing in the band. We don't have any real, we're not flirting with like these dark, spacey, chaotic lows. We're not getting into like really aggressive Tiger-esque highs. We're kind of just exploring, keeping things right in the pocket. We play around for the play and reprise for quite a while. It seems like maybe Jerry's a little ready to jump back into the reprise before everybody else, and he kind of teases that like reprise thing, but they never commit to it. For a while, it seems like, okay, we hear you, but we're still busy, the rest of us. We still got things we want to do, things we want to say. And when they finally do commit to it, they miss that first kind of dun because not everybody's engaged. So they have to kind of regather and like get back into it. It's a solid playing in the band, super melodic, super pretty straight-laced, pretty straightforward. Phil's bringing some nice energy to it throughout, but it doesn't really, it's not very dynamic. It's pretty much, we're just doing what we normally do in a playing. Solid playing. I think playing is the one song, like, I could hear every version of this I think is worth listening to because no two really sound the same in their explorations. But I do think this is probably not even a top 10 for 73. It's just a really, really solid, well-played playing. Keith has some really nice bouncy chords early on. So it's it fits the energy of the majority of the first set. Kind of chill, happily exploring. Like, we have psych energy here, but we're definitely not getting dark or edgy or like too aggressive or too like existentially questioning your existence, as some of these psych jams can lead you to. Solid first set. Cheerful, gentle. I think the Bird Song would be the definite highlight. Set 2 opens up with Here Comes Sunshine. Just another perfectly played Here Comes Sunshine. You have 3 jams in this, essentially. You have the middle section has like a 2 jam where they jam it out, and then they kind of play with the theme of the song, and then they go back into this other jam that leads into the final vocals. And then after the final vocals, there's like a closing jam. And each one of these jams kind of ups the intensity of the energy. The first jam, right in line with the Bird Song, right in line with the China Cat Sunflower. You're feeling good. It's bouncy. It's a little bit jazzy. It's high energy. You're not really, it's just the sunshine. You're celebrating the sunshine. You're not celebrating the devastation that the flood caused that makes you celebrate the sunshine. It's all celebration. But then when we get to the second half, Phil almost immediately steps forward and starts pushing a little more of the more forceful energy, a little more urgency, a little darker. Energy kind of intensifies, but not in like a happy celebratory way, but a little more of a Grateful Dead psych energy way. And then we go back into the vocals, and then we get another closing jam, which pushes the energy even more, kind of gets trippy, kind of gets heavy, and it just takes all of that energy from the first two jams and just kind of like builds on it and intensifies it and says, hey, we're not in the first set anymore. Like, we were more than happy to maintain that sort of celebratory, straightforward vibe in set 1, but we got to push that darker energy because this is set 2 when darker energy is pushed. So the ending of it is just absolutely fantastic and manages to build and capitalize on those first 2 sections. We get a Promised Land. I think the Keith solo stands out in here. A Brown-Eyed Women, which feels slow, feels stately, feels just grand. Phil sounds absolutely amazing in this, almost like there are songs, like prog songs mostly, in which the bass parts feel like they have to be played this way every time because they're an integral part of what makes the song work. That's what Phil's bass playing in this. Like, every time he comes in with this pretty predominant little like lick or bass line, or the notes he's choosing just feel like, oh, they should be played that way every time because Phil's bringing this just like, I don't know, stateliness to the song. I love these slightly slower versions of Brown Eyed Women because I do think these character studies of these people in the Great Depression, when it slowed down, it gives these characters like just this like, you know, proud. You want to be proud for them. It gives them like worth and value and upholds them and like honors them. I don't know, something about this sort of version of Americana when they slow it down. Just the dead nail this. We get an El Paso, which seems to match the sort of classy vibe of the Brown Eyed Women. Then another absolute treat. We get a Black Peter, a gorgeous Black Peter. They only did this 5 times in 73, or at least that we know of. I think we have all the set list now, don't we? So this is a pretty rare occurrence. Phil's bass is amazing. During Jerry's sort of tortured middle solo, he's almost like Phil's almost doing like a walk-in bass line in it. Absolutely amazing. Jerry's solo is just nothing but pain and agony and suffering, but in a beautiful Black Peter sort of way. Keith has just these moments where he just drops in and drops like the right little run or the right little chord. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous version of Black Peter. Then we go into Greatest Story Ever Told. Really nice closing jam on this. The beginning of this jam, Jerry will like rip off a lick and then like rest while the band vamps, and he drops off another lick, and then the band vamps and he drops off another lick. So it's got a nice build before Jerry's like, okay, I'm ready to go, and just takes off. Really good closing solo to Greatest Story. Get a big Railroad Blues, which is always awesome to hear. We get a He's Gone, which has 0 post vocal jam. I think as soon as they finish, like they get to that end right before they're starting to like do the thing where they're like they kind of jam out the vocals, those last lines. They go right into Truckin'. Just, oh no, they do the vocal jam, but there's no post vocal jam. So we don't get that cascading part. As soon as they're done with the vocal jam, they're right into Truckin'. We're off into there. And for the next 41 minutes, we get a phenomenal Truckin' into the other one. On the CD, it's just Truckin' into the other one. There really could be a slam, a jam slotted in here on a track list, because there is this really good lead in into the other one that's 7-8 minutes long, maybe, that is really just this, not maybe 5 or 6, this really just mid-tempo, straightforward, kind of patient, kind of calm, just psych jam that just drops right in the middle of this. And I've seen set list or tapes that have it labeled as jam. I think it could be qualified as its own jam because it does feel a little bit a part of Truckin', like we're in a whole different world, but it's absolutely fantastic. I've also seen tapes or set lists that have Nobody's Fault But Mine labeled on here. It's just a tease. I don't even think they commit to the tease. Jerry's just kind of messing around with it a little bit. We get a snippet. I think that'd be a false mislabeling. But we get a really nice Truckin'. We get a really nice, that build at the end. The is pretty quick. The drop is pretty nice. Immediately Phil starts taking over. Jerry picks up the slide. We got a little bit of a Nobody's Fault But Mine jam. We go bluesy for a while, and then things kind of get psyche and quirky. Then everybody drops out for the most part. And we got a Phil Bill jam that goes on for quite a while. Phil gets really heavy, kind of starts soloing on his own. He starts repeating this sort of like same lick over and over, like this little like jazzy type lift, almost like reminds me of Salt Peanuts. I think it's a Charlie Parker song, Salt Peanuts. It's that kind of like short little quick burst of a lick. And he just does it over and over. And then Jerry joins him and starts doing it over. Or at least I think it's Jerry. It might be Bob. And we kind of have that, and things get a little bit crazy. Then we kind of settle back down into a spacey part. And then Keith comes in with some really sort of funky keyboard teases, just like little bursts of funk that come in there. And then we kind of slowly build our way into what sounds like a funk jam. But then we just kind of slide into this low-key, just slightly funky but not too funky jam in which Jerry's just going off. And the band's just kind of right there with him. It's patient. Nobody's in a hurry to go anywhere. It's just like this mid-tempo. It's just this absolutely amazing. Like the closing, maybe 25% of this 26-minute Truckin' is just, it's just absolutely amazing. I think that's how long it's like a 26-minute Truckin'. I think is about what it is. And then we go at one point after Jerry's done, and you can tell things are starting to unwind. We get a little bit of dun 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 dun. We get that the other one riff pops up. The energy starts to shift towards that darker the other one energy. We start to trend towards that kind of chaos. But then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, we're just fully in the other one. We're jamming. We got our pedal to the metal. We're doing the other one thing. Absolutely amazing. We get the vocals, the first verse. The middle jam is pretty straightforward, pretty high energy. We're just straight up the other one jamming, some pretty aggressive psychedelic jamming. Then we get a meltdown in the middle that goes into this spooky space section. We're finally fully embracing the darker second set energy that the Dead would usually bring. We get some weird noises, some laboratory. This reminds me of like a Dawn Preston 60s Mothers, just doing all kinds of weird noises on your keyboards and synths and doing that kind of thing. It's that kind of like almost feedback / space vibe. Then we, to get back into the song, Phil does a little bass run drop. We're back into the other one. We do the second verse. The second verse ends. We're off into a war frat. Majestic, nice gentle ending. Really good war frat to kind of close out the main energy of the set. Then we get a Sugar Mag, a really playful Casey Jones, in which they seem to be kind of messing a little bit with the rhythm and having fun. And then a Johnny Be Good as an encore. The Truckin' through other one, and I guess War Frat is sort of the nightcap at the end of the run. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. They go into one of those, what they drop into in that Truckin' jam is just one of those things that's just like, if the Dead did what Zappa did and took like live things and just pulled them out and released them as standalone songs, this would be one of those things you would just pull out and drop on like some weird album, like a Rat Tamago or a Shake Your Booty Tango. Just drop this in and name it like, I don't know, Breakfast in Canada or whatever. It's in Vancouver, the show. But the Truckin' is the heart of this. The Black Peter, fantastic. The Here Comes Sunshine, fantastic. The Bird Song, fantastic. The Truckin', the other one, absolutely fantastic. This is a super, super solid show. And when I was trying to rank it and was going through the other shows, I was like, oh yeah, but this one has a Dark Star, Mind Left Body jam, and this one is this, and this one has this. All of these 73 shows just have so many magical moments. Where would I rank it? I have this one right smack dab in the middle. It's the last one in the top half, 9 out of 18. And it's a fantastic show. Like, that's how good the rest of these shows are, is this one is 9 out of 18. But it's no slouch. It's absolutely fantastic. First set, super chill. Second set, amazing. Third set, amazing. There's no third set. All CDs are amazing. The jams are amazing. The energy is just focused and chill. Not a very dark show. Really, it's only in the other one when they get to that like psych space, Heart of Darkness type stuff. But I think it works regardless. You don't always need the darkness. Black Peter's pretty dark, but that song by its nature, but they do an absolutely beautiful performance of it. But yeah, phenomenal release once again. All right, that's all I got for this. June 22nd, 1973. Let me know your thoughts on this show, on the Dead, on 73, blah, blah, blah. You know how this stuff works, things I messed up on. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment. And go listen to this show because it is amazing. Peace. Talk to you later.